the US gold reserves, especially at Fort Knox, but as you say, it's about half of the total. American official gold reserves are put at 8,133 tons, which is a lot. The biggest single gold hoard in the world. But the idea is that this stuff hasn't been inspected, it hasn't been counted for many, many years. 1974 was the last time that there was actually an official inspection as such. There have been audits since then, and a lot of people say we're going to audit the Fed, audit the gold, but audit isn't really what you want to do. Audit is where you just check paper records against paper records. What you really need to do if you want to know that it's there is you need to do a tally count. You need to go in and count the bars, and you need to inspect the bars and make sure that they're the right quality and they are the material that you want them to be.
And that would be an enormous undertaking?
It would be phenomenal. I mean, so Bullion Vault, our customers using 5 different locations globally, they have about 44 tons of gold, which is a lot. It's worth about $4 billion at current prices. We have a tally count and a full inspection done on behalf of our customers every 12 months. It coincides with our financial business audit as well. And we send independent experts, SAS experts, into each of the locations. They count and inspect every single bar, and they make sure that the bar numbers and the fine weights which are stamped on those bars, the fineness, the metal which is stamped on those bars, accords with what is on the bar list, which is given to us and which we publish each day for our customers to inspect, provided to us by the independent custodians. Now, the issue here is that takes many man-hours, many days, right, for us to do that for 44 tons. You try and do that for 4,000 tons at Fort Knox or 8,000 tons if you want to do the whole lot. It's going to take a lot of people a lot of time to do this.
Yeah, a lot of gold is in Denver apparently, and also West Point. And you say that this will be such a large undertaking that internationally, innumerable gold experts will be needed for it. Will be almost a global effort.
Absolutely. It depends how quickly you want to get it done. I mean, it's not the kind of job. When we have our annual inspection done on behalf of Bullion Vault customers, we look to try and get that done within a couple of weeks across the 5 locations, using different experts in each place. If you want to try and do 4,000 tons or 8,000 tons, you're not going to get this done in a couple of weeks, even with all the manpower you can find, right? It's going to be a protracted process. And it really is about, what is it you're trying to find out? Simply going and seeing the gold. Elon Musk said, oh, hey, let's do a video walkthrough at Fort Knox. Now, that's as offhand a comment as Elon Musk might make about anything, frankly. A walkthrough.
Now here's something you don't see every day. I'm aging a steak inside of a potato. But this is not any potato, it's a special one. And after carving a big hole, I went ahead and threw a nice, beautiful steak in there. I got some toothpicks, closed the side, then I wrapped the whole thing with butcher's twine. Lastly, I threw it on the ground and buried the whole thing. Oh yes, I did. I let that thing age there for quite some time. Then I took it out, cleaned a little bit of the dirt, and stuck it in my refrigerator for a month. Because the time was almost time to see what was inside. And I was completely amazed, because that potato preserved the steak quite well. I thought the whole thing was going to be rotten. Boy, was I wrong. So at this stage, I decided to go ahead and cook the whole thing. I took it outside and cooked it away. Once I sliced it, it looked phenomenal. But the real question was, did it taste good?
It tastes like funky.
Now here's something you don't see every day. I'm aging a steak inside of a potato. But this is not any potato, it's a special one. And after carving a big hole, I went ahead and threw a nice, beautiful steak in there. I got some toothpicks.
Welcome back and happy Friday. I forgot to mention that off the top. The 22nd Amendment to the Constitution limits American presidents, well, of course, it's the American Constitution, to terms in office.
Hasn't stopped President Trump and those who support him, however, from suggesting a third term.
Should I run again? You tell me. There's your controversy right now. There's your controversy. We want Trump in 28. That's what they can't stand. A man like Trump comes along only once or twice in a country's history, right? We want Trump.
I want to bring in Josh Chaffetz. He is a professor of law at Georgetown Law School. Josh, it's great to have you here. Thanks. Very briefly, give me your commentary legally on the 22nd Amendment and all this chatter, which the White House likes to describe as just sort of a joke about a third Trump term.
Well, it is a joke, constitutionally speaking. I mean, the text of the 22nd Amendment is incredibly clear that presidents can only run for 2 terms in office. There's just no wiggle room.
I have seen some, I won't call it scholarship, I will call it advocacy, legal analysis saying, well, that means 2 consecutive terms. And if Trump hasn't served consecutively, it's still viable.
The people who drafted the 22nd Amendment knew how to use the word consecutive. They chose not to use it. They knew they had examples of presidents who had served non-consecutive terms before. So this would not have been a surprise to them. And again, they chose not to say that. They chose to say not more than 2 terms.
I want to play for you something that Stephen Miller, a top advisor for President Trump, said yesterday as means of a civics lesson on the powers of the presidency. Let's play that.
In the Constitution, Article 2 has a clause, known as the vested clause, and it says the executive power shall be vested in a president. Single. The whole will of democracy is imbued into the elected president. That president then appoints staff that impose that democratic will onto the government. The threat to democracy, the existential threat to democracy, is the unelected bureaucracy of lifetime tenure civil servants who believe they answer to no one, who believe they can do whatever they want without consequence, who believe they can set their own agenda no matter what Americans vote for.
You know the vesting clause well, Josh. Stephen Miller's articulation, that is a certain articulation of presidential power. Is it the only articulation of presidential power?
No, that's a very extreme articulation of presidential power, because notice, he didn't just say the traditional, sort of what's known as the unitary executive position, which is that the president has complete control over the executive branch. He actually said that the president represents the entirety of American democracy.
Of the democracy.
Right, that's crazy. Where's Congress in that picture? The Congress is, in fact, if anything, significantly more representative than the presidency. And things like civil service protections are a creature of Congress. They're a creation of laws passed by Congress, starting with the Pendleton Act in 1883 and continuing through civil service reforms after that, where Congress has chosen and presidents have signed on to give bureaucrats protections from being fired so that we can have a competent, professionalized civil service.
And under the rubric of civics lessons, let's remind ourselves, Article 1 of the Constitution outlines congressional powers. There are 10 articles in Article 1, 10 sections. Article 2 defines presidential powers. There are 4 sections there. That's suggesting that the framers of the Constitution were much more concerned about establishing and verifying the powers of Congress.
Absolutely. Congress was the first branch in the Constitution for a reason. The founders expected that it would be the most powerful branch, that would be the branch that set national policy. And then, indeed, when you look at Article 2, the article dealing with the presidency, one of the most important provisions in Article 2 is what's called the Take Care Clause, the requirement that the president take care that the laws be faithfully executed.
On this
that is an
channel
actual
for a little while,
obligation that the president has to follow the law, not to sort of make up whatever he wants the law to be, but to follow the law. And that means abiding by statutes that Congress has passed.
This week, the why kind
Welcome to China's Hot Pot from Health, a hot pot that you don't eat, but you survive, and you don't get to take your first bite until you sign this. Today we come to Sichuan Province to take on Chengdu's most iconic food, The hot pot. Starting from the factory
This is hot pot heaven.
to the finished product. This looks like a bowl of blood. By the end of this video, I'll be taking on this country's most brutal, spicy, unforgiving hot pot experience.
2 of the workers have tried this out of all the workers here. Yeah. There's a lot of workers. They're all scared.
But you can't have hot pot what's the hot pot base. Welcome to one of China's amazing hot pot factories. Behind me, a giant cauldron meant for cooking up huge amounts of hot pot base. The air in here is insane. Every once in a while, you'll get some chilies that have turned into gas that are floating in the air that float into your eyeball and sting you. It's unlike anything I've experienced before. When you eat a Chengdu hot pot, an oily seasoned hot pot base is mixed with water and made hot enough to boil a variety of delicious meats. That base is packed with rich, layered flavors. Here at Sichuan Spicy Seed Factory, they're mass-producing hot pot base for over 100,000 individual restaurants in China. This empire runs smoothly under the watch of this man. Put her there. Thank you for having us in your hot pot factory. I have so many questions. I'm very curious about this place. Question 1. How many times do you sneeze per day?
You get used to it. This is normal.
Oh my god, it's like getting in my eyes, it's getting in my throat, in my mouth, in my nose. It's pleasure and pain combined.
But also a little bit hungry.
It's making you hungry.
Yeah.
Meet Hong, a full-time food influencer with an obsession for hot pots. He'll be my eating comrade for the day. I want to get into the food. First of all, how much of this are you making each day?
80 times per day.
That's wild. First, the 600-pound mix of mostly beef tallow with a little bit of rapeseed oil for the vessel. Once it hits the right temperature, massive heaps of garlic dive into the oil to fry. Here they heat up a giant pot that can hold up to 1,200 pounds of product.
They got more than 20 recipes in their factory.
Now, I thought maybe you're making one type of hot pot base for all these different restaurants, but he's making multiple different recipes depending on where it's going.
Yeah.
Hot pot has evolved into over 30 variations across China since it first appeared more than 1,000 years ago. This factory specializes in all types of Sichuan hot pot, among them the Chengdu hot pot we're trying today. How many ingredients are used here, including all the different variations of hot pot you make?
40 kinds of spices.
That doesn't mean that every one is going to have 40, but there could be variations including up to 40 different ingredients. That's pretty wild. With a twist to the recipe, restaurants may introduce numbing and spicy are the 2 must-have sensations in the Sichuan hot pot, created by 2 special ingredients. First off, the chilies, but not just any kind of chilies.
This one is chicken chili. It's most popular in hot pot base.
Dao, good morning. Chili farmer, also good morning, my man.
Yeah.
You're growing chilies that people are eventually going to be using for a hot pot. Does hot pot require one certain chili, or are there a bunch of different chilies folks use in Sichuan?
用的多种. They use various of chilies, but chicken chili is most important because it's fragrant and super spicy.
Originating in Sichuan province, this is one of the hottest chili peppers in southern China, with a Scoville score of up to 100,000, about the same as a Thai chili and just below a habanero.
Chicken chili is quite expensive, so the restaurants won't use entirely chicken chili in a pot. They will use 30% of chicken chili and 70% other cheaper chilies.
And what makes these other chilies cheaper?
The other chili will grow faster, and this kind of chili is not as spicy and not this kind of aroma. The tip of the chicken chili is sweet. He said, I don't know, let's try. It's kind of sweet, but also very spicy.
It is a little bit sweet. Yeah, a bit fresh. It's really aromatic. It's almost like a flower.
A papaya.
He said, no way. I'm full of it.
He said, yes.
You agreed?
Yeah.
So this is one of the main important key ingredients in our hot pot base. But there's one more thing we're going to see out here in the countryside that is absolutely essential, that is unique to Sichuan. This is the Sichuan peppercorn. Some Americans might be confused when you say pepper and corn together, but actually all the black pepper eaten in America is peppercorn that got ground out into black table pepper. But this is something completely different. Sichuan peppercorn is practically unavoidable in Sichuan. It's a defining flavor to the region's cuisine. These were dried, they're baked, they're chopped, they're scattered amongst so many of the different street foods I tried. My whole mouth right now is vibrating. Despite its name, the Sichuan peppercorn doesn't come from the pepper family, but the citrus family, an origin that gives it a unique taste that no other ingredient can replicate.
Sichuan hot pot, also called Mala hot pot. La means spicy, Ma means non-meat.
When you eat peppercorn, first of all, the tongue will go numbing.
So that means you can't feel your tongue.
Yeah, you can feel your tongue. Then the oral will go numbing. If you eat a lot, the stomach will start a little bit numbing. When you eat too much, your face is a little bit numbing.
Really?
Yeah, you can try it.
It's very green, a little grassy, somewhat sour, a bit of citrus to it. Oh, it's crunchy on the inside.
Yeah, the seed is in there.
Oh, wow. Just one, it's so powerful.
Wow, the numbing.
I chewed it on the right side, so the right side of my face on the inside is going numb. So how long is this going to last?
I don't know, maybe 12 minutes. Yeah.
It's fresh, it's really fragrant, a bit citrusy, like a sour orange. I can't believe how fruity it is.
And so appetizing, right?
A bit confusing. It's so new for me, my man. It tastes like I put a fruity 9-volt battery on my tongue. It's like a jolt of electricity. Have you ever put a battery on your tongue?
Never.
Car battery?
No.
Soon I'll experience the power of Sichuan peppercorn combined with Xiqing chili in 3 completely different hot pots, ending with one that may just break my anus.
It's called 菊花残. 菊花 in Chinese means purple, and tan means disable. Purple, disable.
But first, these fiery ingredients must join the others in the making of the hot pot base. Fresh chili peppers go into the giant pot of swirling beef tallow and garlic. Next, fennel, a secret spice blend requested by the restaurant, chili bean paste, Sichuan pepper sauce, and a bucket full of even more beef tallow. So this is the final step, and they're letting me do it? I can't believe it. Right here, we have what they call chili red. It is basically a natural food coloring that's going to give it that beautiful red color that we desire in our hot pot base. Let's put it in there. Oh, they eat, the smell, everything is just radiating from this massive wok. In just about 10 minutes from now, this is going to finish cooking and they're going to dump it out. It'll get ready for portioning after that once it cools down a bit. But man, cooking on a massive scale, I've never seen anything like this when it comes to hot pot. I love it. This is the hot, liquefied hot pot base. It's full of oil, flavor, garlic, and chilies. It's so hot and steamy. I mean, this is essentially what you get at the restaurant. Right now, you can get a skewer, put your meat in there, cook it, and eat it straight away, except for the fact that they gave me this so I wouldn't eat. What the heck? From here, the hot pot base is either packed into small skewer, put your meat in there, cook it, and eat it straight away, except for the fact that they gave me this so I wouldn't eat. What the heck? From here, the hot pot base is either packed into small portions to some like grocery stores. So delivered in large batches to restaurants, and that is where we're headed now. Welcome to a room that few have seen before. This is the hot pot broth back room that nobody ever gets to see when they come to a restaurant like this. Right now, I'm with the owner of this hot pot location, sir. Put her there. For over 28 years, Sydney's restaurant has been a trusted destination for authentic traditional hot pot, with a recipe that dates back over 1 century. We already went to the factory where they saw them make this right here. This is the hot pot base, and there is a lot of it. This thing must weigh at least 600 to 700 pounds. The base is chock full of chilies, peppercorns, there's fennel, there's star anise, there's a little bit of everything in there, and it smells amazing. Oh God. Alright, that will not wash out easily. You have to be careful. I recommend not wearing white shirts to locations such as this. Right here, we have another component. This right here, what he has is beef tallow, and it's soaked with all the same flavors of the base, but this is just a pure oil. So before the hot pot broth heads to your table to get melted down, he's got to combine these two elements. He takes a little bit of base and he puts it in the bottom of the pot, and then the oil, my God, I cannot believe how much oil goes inside. This is ridiculous. Mr. Lee adds even more heat to the hot pot base with a bowl of chilies. He dilutes it with water, then leaves the task of eating to the home and eat. This is my first taste of the true traditional Chengdu hot pot. First of all, this thing is boiling like crazy. Is this kind of normal? You just keep it going like this?
Yeah, we just keep going like this.
I love it. We have all these different assorted meats around us. What should we start with?
We should go with sliced yak.
That's a strong thing to start with. All right, let's go for it. Show me the way.
Just begin.
Give it a little bit of a dip. So this is why all of this meat is sliced so thin. We put it in the boiling oil and water, and it just takes a short time to cook all the way through.
It's okay.
Well, it's yak. I don't think yak has to be well done. It's not pork.
Cheers. Mmm. it's tender and juicy, right?
Nice, juicy, soft, but pretty lean. It's not a fatty kind of meat.
Wow, the spiciness.
It's wow. The heat, it builds slowly. There's like a warm glow that keeps growing in intensity. It is also a little bit of that mouth-numbing effect that you get from those peppercorns. Ooh, it's intense.
Yeah, that's why I love hot pot.
Yeah, it's very addictive. What shall we try next?
Let's try sliced Wagyu.
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 Now, this is completely different from the yak because this has the nice marble fats, giving a little bit of a dip. I think that's okay.
It's good.
So, this is our dipping sauce. It's garlic, cilantro, scallions, and a small can of sesame oil. The Tumblr's hot pot condiment of choice. We're cooking the meat in oil. We take it out of the oil, and then we dip it in some oil.
You just try it. It's not taste like oil. It's very fresh. What do you think?
It's delicious. I'm not sure how much sesame oil is utilized in American cooking, but it's so smoky, and then it's just taking on the flavors of everything else in here, especially that garlic. What do you think of the broth? I love it.
I love it too. It's spicy and numbing, and a lot of spicy fragrance.
Yeah, you put fennel and star anise and other herbs inside. I was scared about the heat. The first bite was a little bit intense, but as you keep eating it, it's like the poison is also the remedy. It's hot, but then if you keep eating, you don't feel the pain.
Yeah.
So here we have pork belly.
The pork should cook longer than beef.
So the average hot pot session lasts how long?
At least 1 hour. If you drink beer, it will be last to 3 hours or more. It's not just a meal in China. It's more like a social activity. When you eat hot pot, you don't play with phones. You drink beers, we talk, we share the story about your life. It's cute.
Yeah, that's good, right?
For you, it's okay.
You're paranoid, huh? I think that's gonna be fine.
Wow.
That is so good.
And I think the pork can absorb more soup than beef.
Yeah, I think you have a point there. Half of what we eat is just fat, and the fat has so much flavor. So we got fat on oil. It's gonna be really nice. So all this food has been amazing, but for me, it's a little bit on the normal side.
Sure. Okay.
From here, we're going to go to a hot pot place that has such a huge variety of meats, including some stuff that's a bit unusual, at least for us Americans. I'm talking innards, different unusual organs, blood. Be honest, everything that's on the table right now, have you eaten it before?
Yeah, I eat this like every week, and it's so good.
Okay, that's all I want is a testimonial. So, we have two parts of the beef tripe today. This is the reticulum.
Reticulum.
Yeah, no person on earth knows it, except for farm pets. The reticulum is a small pouch located near the cow's heart. Before being sliced up, it looks like this. Wow. It's my first time touching it. Ugh. This looks like something that you finish polishing a car with. It's soft, it's got bristles, it won't scratch anything. Everyone knows cow stomachs have 4 compartments. This is the second compartment of the cow's stomach. Before food reaches the reticulum, it must pass through the rumen, a large compartment that can hold more than 25 gallons. Here the food is soaked and softened, making digestion easier. Then it moves to the reticulum. And then this thing helps kick back some of the bigger pieces so the cow can continue chewing it even more. That means this is probably a gaming piece of meat, and it probably is exposed to a lot of stomach acid and just a lot of delicious flavors. I cannot wait to put this in a hot pot and see how it tastes.
In Sichuan, we have a saying that is eat Mao Du. Only take 15 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's so good.
It's so good. It has an amazing texture. It's so crunchy.
Yeah.
It's very thin. The part that looks like a scouring pad that you would clean your counter with, you can feel that the texture on there.
It's the pot.
Yeah, those little bumps. But at the same time, it's so thin and kind of crunchy. It's got a nice crunch to it.
It's funny to chew.
Beyond that, this broth is also a level up from our last broth. This is even more spicy, even more numbing. Then we have this kind of stomach right here. Hold on. I'm going to sneeze again. All right. Wow. Oh, my God.
Bless you.
It happened. Wow, this is such a unique preparation. It looks like the bristles of a broom. It's like some double mason, which is like this. This is the third chamber of the stomach, and you can see the texture is completely different. Look at all these scary, wild, ripply pieces inside of the stomach. These layers act like a sponge, squeezing out any excess water from the food, leaving only the good stuff to enter the fourth and final compartment, the abomasum, which is similar to our human stomachs. Here, all the energy and nutrients are extracted from the food. This is why we can't be vegan. We don't have whatever this is going on inside of us. Cows, they're vegan, and somehow their body, through the use of all these stomach chambers, is able to capture enough nutrients. But humans, we need to eat the cow. Sorry, cow.
we can toss the whole plate into that.
Oh, okay, sure, let's do it.
This needs some time to cook, and this should be too.
Oh, that's the blood.
Blood.
It's interesting because they poured blood into a bowl. It's kind of coagulated. They cut it into cubes.
Yeah, they put something make them taste like a very tender tofu.
While these are cooking, let's talk about the other two foods that are remaining. Right here we have goose intestines. They've been cleaned very thoroughly, and it looks like they've been cut down one side and spread open, so they almost look like fat, thick noodles.
Oh, come on, you can have some more.
That's
At least 5, okay? Oh, 2 is enough.
Dude, thank you for downgrading so quickly. The texture is tremendous.
It's kind of crunchy and tender at the same time.
Yeah, because it's like flexible, but then when you bite into it, crunch. Not as crunchy as the initial cow stomach that we had, but man, that is such a unique experience. I love it. I think it's unfortunate that in the USA, we don't really appreciate strange or unusual textures. Maybe our most unusual texture would be like a medium rare steak.
That's too basic.
When you come to a place like China, you come to appreciate organs, and you stop seeing them as these strange body parts, and you start to see them as just a different mouth feel. That said, I think everything that's in here is done. The tripe that has cooked through, it looks insane. It looks like an enoki mushroom.
Wow. One more.
This time it's very different. It's not crunchy, it's more spongy. It's absorbing the broth. So all the flavor, all the oil is getting absorbed into the stomach. Every time you take a bite, it's like a spongy texture that releases all this flavor. So he uses the sieve, he pulls out the blood cakes, and they're so tender. You have to be really gentle. It's like silky tofu.
Yeah, it's very silky, right?
I like eating animal parts that remind me of vegetarian food. Because, yes, I could just eat silky tofu.
Boring.
Yeah, boring. Who cares? This is the life force of a duck, but it's delicate, it's soft, it breaks apart, almost liquefies in your mouth. This is so good. From here, we have one food remaining. I saw this food earlier, but I had no idea what it was. Take a look, guys. In all my travels, I have never seen any organ that looks like this. It looks insane, it feels gelatinous and floppy.
It's cow's aorta. A-O-R-T-A. Aorta.
I just feel like people and kids and adults in China just have a better grasp on anatomy. No American knows this.
I don't know what is aorta either. I just love to eat it.
Well, you really don't know what it is?
I think it's the organ to pump the blood to other organs.
I think it plumps the blood, yes. Well, let me see. The aorta. It is the body's largest artery, and it's responsible for carrying oxygen-rich blood from the heart to the rest of the body. That's an important job.
And that's really delicious. Maybe wait 2 or 3 minutes.
All right, so while that's boiling, I have some questions for you. You are a content creator. Why did you get started?
Because I like to eat. I like to search some local restaurants. Then I think, why should I spend my money on this for making money? So I started recording my own.
We will use all necessary state, local, federal, and military resources to carry out the largest domestic deportation operation in American history.
Okay, so that's what Donald Trump was promising. We're going to do this mass deportation. We have to because the country's filled with violent criminals, which it isn't. And we need the military. We need the military in American cities busting down the doors of, Charlottesville and Detroit and San Diego or whatever, because that's how dangerous these criminal gangs are. That's what he sold you. How is it actually working out? How are they actually generating the already far lower number of daily ICE arrests than they said they'd have? Well, in just about the most dishonest way possible. Take a look at this. We're going to give you the facts, and then we're going to talk a little bit about what effect, what message this is sending to the migrants in our country who are following the rules, doing everything the way they're supposed to. So ICE is doing some incredibly backhanded things to snare people. They've got this quota, 1,200 to 1,500 arrests a day, which is based on nothing other than Donald Trump pulled it out of his butt. And so here's how they're getting some people. People attending recent mandatory immigration check-ins or court appearances have been escorted out in federal custody. They're alleged to have been tricked, lied to, or otherwise deceived so that they could be snared in this mass deportation thing. There's no lower hanging fruit, the Guardian says, than immigrants following the rules who reliably show up when they're called in for immigration check-ins or court dates. So let's get into some specifics. Attorneys in New York say dozens of their clients have been detained and deported after reporting for seemingly routine check-ins related to their immigration cases since the election in November. For others in New York State, ICE check-ins now mean confiscated passports, ankle monitor requirements, and fingerprinting for kids. Very fun, very German mid-century. In neighboring New Jersey, non-citizens are being arrested at their appointments as well. In Florida, family members and...
For more on the budget and Doge, let's bring in Florida Congressman and Doge Caucus co-chair Aaron Dean. Congressman, welcome.
Good morning, or good afternoon, my friend. Great to be with you.
Let's talk about efforts to pass big portions of the Trump agenda in Congress. We know the Senate's going its own way. How's progress coming in the House?
Well, first of all, I understand why they're acting so fast. They're getting impatient, as is the American people getting impatient. But, Mike, everybody knows a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. And so that's why one big, beautiful bill is the right answer, because it combines the sugar that every legislator, Republican legislator, wants to vote for with border and doing great things there, with the medicine, which is very difficult.
So Niantic, the makers of Pokemon Go, have decided they're going to sell off their gaming division. And this includes a bunch of games that might already be on your phone. You might have tried Ingress, but that was like the first one that I really cared about. Pikmin Bloom, Pokemon Go, Monster Hunter Now, never heard of Paradox. But these are some of the games that they are selling off. And reportedly right now, it looks like they're in talks with a company by the name of Scopely. And the current asking price is $3.5 billion, which makes sense. Pokemon Go has made about $8 billion since it launched, 9 years ago? Someone said it averages like $1 billion a year now. So that's just Pokemon Go. Then there's the other games, Pikmin Bloom and all this. I don't know who's playing this. Monster Hunter Now, I know a lot of friends who play this one. I was always more of a Pokemon Go guy. This actually got me up and out in the world, believe it or not, which is why I liked the game. Me and my girlfriend would use it as an excuse to take the dogs to the park, and I bet a lot of you guys did the same thing. I don't know that I would like to continue to play the game, and I'll tell you why. Scopely is a Chinese-owned company that is kind of infamous for buying up mobile games and monetizing them into the ground. It looks like here, they own Monopoly Go, which if you've downloaded that, you'll know that it is an extremely expensive game to play if you would like to really play that game. Marvel Strike Force. You can check any Strike Force community or talk to any Strike Force player. I spoke with one last night who said it costs you about $50 to acquire a new character, or a ridiculous amount of time, and then you got to level it up, and that costs money too. All of these other games pretty much are some of the top grossing games, period, because, well, they know how to monetize. And if you pay $3.5 billion for a game, chances are you're going to want to make that money back. Now, keep in mind, when it comes to Niantic, you're not just getting the games, you're not just getting the player base, you are also getting all of the data that they mapped out. Rumor has it Pokemon Go and these other games, Ingress, started as an excuse to basically map the world and get all of this mapping data to show not just where the businesses are, where the streets are, where the parks are, but to show how many people go to a particular business, how many people stay there, how long they stay for, how long they go. Spinning Pokestops, walking down the street, stopping at these raid gyms, they were tracking all of that. They have all of that information. It's connected, probably anonymously, but still connected to the account that you used to play with. And that's data this Chinese-owned company is getting as well. So if the U.S. government doesn't like it when TikTok does something like that, I bet they probably won't like it as much when Skokie does it, but I doubt we'll see a ban of Pokemon Go or anything else. But players are pretty worried about it. One player actually said, this potential shift personally fills me with dread. And if you check Reddit, there's plenty of people who are just terrified of this happening. And if you think about it, again, there's plenty of chances that they're going to monetize this in the worst possible way. Pay for a specific Pokemon. We've kind of done that with the ticketing system before. You pay for a specific shiny rather than take your chances of catching it. That would be something they could do. We've already seen in the last year the increase in price for certain tickets, the increase in price for remote raid tickets. Then the limit could come off that, so we're paying $3 for remote raid, and we're doing that infinite number of times a day. That's a good way to monetize it. But more tickets in the store. We've seen so many more in the last year that I got to the point that I just didn't even want to play the game anymore. It was hard to fit into my schedule. There's too many events, too much stuff going on. It was impossible to keep track. And the rewards, even for the money we're spending, weren't that great. We also saw this horrible character redesign. I don't know if I should bring this up, but the character redesigns was just... Dan Colson's job is to break in new footballs for quarterbacks on NFL and college teams. He uses conditioners, heat guns, and mud from New Jersey riverbanks.